Welcome to the broadcast of News Hour on Sun TV, the pulse of the nation. You can follow us on Facebook at Sun TV and on YouTube at Sun TV Live. Now the major headlines. Honorable Anas Shaibu Didando visits FOB at Damin, commands troops fighting banditry. Dele Momodu warns Tinubu against dictatorship amid wave of high-profile defections to APC. Federal government releases 50 billion naira for end allowances to federal university staffs. I am Esther Oka Steven, and now the news in full. In a show of solidarity and appreciation, Honorable Anas Shaibu Didando paid a visit to the forward operating base in Adamin today, where he met with dedicated military personnel actively engaged in the fight against banditry in the region. Honorable Didando expressed his deep gratitude to the head of FOB operations, Lieutenant Colonel D. Otodo, and all the brave troops stationed in the area. He praised their relentless effort in restoring peace and security, allowing local communities to begin rebuilding their lives. He also attended a heartfelt thank you to His Excellency Dr. Abu Kefas, Governor of Taraba State, for his consistent and unwavering support in matters of security. Honorable Didando acknowledged the governor's swift response and commitment to ensuring that peace returned to the region. Former presidential aspirant of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Dele Momodu, has warned President Bola Tinubu against turning Nigeria into a dictatorship as high-profile defections from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APCs) continue to reshape the political landscape. Momodu's remarks came amid reports confirming that on Wednesday, April 23, 2025, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberevuri officially defected from the PDP to the APC. The move, announced after a closed-door stakeholders meeting at the government house in Asaba, was attributed to long-term development goals and extensive consultation with political allies. Omorevuri was joined by his predecessors and the PDP's 2023 vice presidential candidate Ifeanyi Okowa, alongside other top figures, in what analysts describe as a major realignment of power in Delta State. Following the announcement, State Commissioner for Information Charles Enego, alongside Senator James Manga, revealed that the Vice President Kashim Shettima is scheduled to visit Asaba State next Monday to formally welcome the defectors into the APC. In his reaction, Momodu, speaking on Channels TV Politics Today, cautioned President Tinubu not to misinterpret the wave of defections as genuine support or evidence of political strength. He stressed that democracy must be allowed to thrive without coercion or manipulation. Uphold our democratic tenets. Do not turn Nigeria into a democratic dictatorship, Momodu said, urging the president to remain committed to the principles that once made him a pro-democracy figure. Citing recent defections, including those of Senator Kawa Samela, and speculations around potential moves by PDP governors and NNPP national leaders, Rabiu Kwankwaso, Momodu warned that political opportunism should not be mistaken for loyalty or approval of Tinubu's leadership. He urged that securing a second term through pressure All political maneuvering would undermine the legitimacy of democratic processes and ultimately be regrettable. The federal government has released 50 billion naira to address the long-standing issues of earning allowances owed to academic and non-academic staffs in federal universities. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, emphasized that these moves reflect President Tinubu's commitment to transforming the education sector and supporting university staff as key stakeholders in national development. He also praised the current peaceful academic environment in the country. However, the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU, through its national president, Professor Emmanuel Osodike, expressed skepticism. Osodike said the union has not seen any official evidence of the funds release and stressed that ASUs would not be swayed by verbal assurance. He also questioned the inclusion of other staffs union in what was initially a matter between ASU and the government. The presidency has defended the federal government's approval of a 10 billion naira solar power project for the presidential villa amid public criticism over its cost and timing. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga stated that the initiative aligned with global best practices, citing the White House in Washington, D.C., which also uses solar energy. He emphasized that transitioning to renewable energy demonstrates leadership in sustainability, despite ongoing economic challenges and concerns about the government's commitment to improving national power supply. Niger State Governor Umar Bago has retrieved his controversial directive to arrest individuals with dreadlocks following widespread public backlash. The initial order, which linked the hairstyle to cult-related activities and insecurity, particularly in Minna, was met with criticism for promoting discrimination. In a subsequent clarification, Bago claimed that the crackdown was specifically aimed at criminal groups using dreadlocks as a cover for their illicit activities. He reassured the public that law-abiding citizens was not under threat, dismissing the earlier backlash as media propaganda. The use of cult symbols, which ensuring innocent individuals are not targeted. Additionally, Governor Bago has defended the recently imposed curfew on motorcycles and tricycles in Minna, calling it a necessary measure to combat rising violence and insecurity in the state capital. The Dogs to Down curfew, which was announced earlier this week, aimed to target criminal groups who exploit the mobility of these vehicles to carry out crimes and evade law enforcement. Bago emphasized that the curfew was not meant to punish law-abiding residents, but to disrupt the operations of criminal elements, many of whom are aged between 13 and 22. We go on a commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't change the channel.
Escape the everyday at DY Scott, a luxurious haven for your hair, nails, and overall well-being. Imagine yourself settling into a plush armchair, the aroma of essential oils and freshly brewed coffee filling the air. Expert stylists meticulously craft your perfect look, whether you're seeking a bold modern style or a classic timeless cut. Beyond the perfect haircut, indulge in a revitalizing manicure or pedicure. Our skilled technicians use only the finest ethically sourced products, ensuring a truly pampering experience for your skin and the planet. Enjoy a refreshing drink, a mojito, chamomile tea, or something bubbly while you unwind in our relaxing atmosphere. Looking to socialize? Challenge friends to a game of table tennis or snooker in our convivial relaxation area. Reconnect with yourself and leave feeling confident, truly pampered and beautifully you. DY Scott is more than just a salon, it's an experience that nourishes your mind, body and soul. Find us at Roadblock Jalingo, Konaru, or call 081-4563-6195 to book your appointment today.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're still with us. The Nigerian Air Force NAF has acknowledged responsibility for a mistaken airstrike that killed 15 civilians in Zamfara State on January 11, 2025. The incident followed a similar one in Sokoto State in December 2024. Nigerian Air Force has provided compensations to victims' family, including cash, rebuilding a house, replacing motorcycles, and drilling a borehole. The chief of the air staff visited the affected community in March, assuring long-term support. Nigerian Air Force emphasized its commitment to accountability, transparency, and civilian protection, gaining praise from local leaders for its prompt response. Still from Zamfara State, report has it that fresh political crisis has erupted in Zamfara State following the formation of a parallel House of Assembly by 10 lawmakers who were previously suspended by the current leadership. Meeting in Gusau on Wednesday, the faction led by Bashar Gumi of Gumi constituency rejected their suspension as illegitimate and gave Governor Dauda Lawal a 1-month ultimatum to address the state's worsening security or face impeachment. The lawmakers drawn from both the APC and PDP also demanded that the governor represent the 2025 budget within the same time frame. They criticized the administration for its handling in banditry and insecurity across all 14 local governments and accused it of neglecting victims while indulging in spendings. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered 54 banks to return over 9.3 billion naira stolen by hackers from an unnamed old generation bank. Justice Dande Dakbolu directed the banks to freeze and return all funds received from a fraudulent transfer and to provide full account details. The court clarified that the order applies only to the stolen funds, not other customers' deposits. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, has reaffirmed the agency's push for mandatory drug testing of National Youth Service Corps members. During a visit by the NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Olakule Nafiu, Marwa described the initiative as preventive rather than punitive, aimed at early detection and intervention to curb youth drug abuse. Highlighting alarming national drug use statistics, He stressed the need for collaboration between the NDLEA and NYSC, including the deployment of core members with relevant health and counseling background to NDLEA centers. NAFIU welcomed the proposal and promised to review and implement the recommendations. The media aide to the Rivers State Sole Administrator, Actor Ibikwe has emphasized that although the Gazette declaring a state of emergency in the state gives Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas retired sweeping powers, the administrator has chosen to exercise restraint in the face of widespread protests. These protests are being led by supporters of the suspended governor Seminalaye Fubara, who was removed from office alongside his deputy and state lawmakers following President Bola Tinubu's March 18th declaration of emergency rule. Ibikwe described the protest as a direct test of Ibas will be urged the public to remain calm and avoid acts that could escalate tensions. He noted that Ibas is actively engaged in critical stakeholders, including religious leaders such as Christian Association of Nigeria, to promote peace and chart a path towards the restoration of democratic governance. In response to the federal intervention, a coalition of prominent Rivers citizens issued a strongly worded letter condemning the emergency declaration as unconstitutional and a violation of Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution. The group demanded an immediate reversal of the emergency rules and the restrainment of elected officials, arguing that the action subverts democracy and undermines the autonomy of the state. Over 2 million candidates are set to begin the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exam today across Nigeria, 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. According to the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB), registrations opens on February 3rd and close on 8th March. Earlier this year, over 200,000 candidates participated in a mock UTME, with 180 candidates currently facing sanction for attempting to access fake-linked questions. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede warned students against exam malpractice and urged them to focus on studying. It disclosed that JAMB had created a fake website to identify those who cheat and emphasized the emergency commitment to maintaining examination integrity. Oloyede also cautioned against registration by proxy and manipulation of school-based performance data, reiterating the UTME in an individual-based examination. The Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) has initiated plans to relocate its institutions and agencies from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, following the recent withdrawal of these three countries from the regional bloc. During an extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers in Accra, Ghana on Wednesday, ministers discussed logistical strategies for the relocation and the suspension of ongoing regional programs in the countries now under military rule. The session followed a directive issued by the ECOWAS Authority of Head of State and Government at its 66th ordinary session. Ambassador Yusuf Toga, Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chair of the Council, emphasized the importance of resilience and pragmatism, calling the situation a difficult chapter in ECOWAS history. He stressed the need for unity and adaptation in the face of unprecedented development. A statement confirmed that the Council is working in a framework for the relocation of ECOWAS institutions and the mitigation of disruptions caused by the departure of operations from the three countries. The ministers are also tasked with ensuring the continued operation of critical institutions involved in security, economic development, and regional mobility, with plans for transitioning to alternative host countries. Tuga reiterated ECOWAS' commitment to regional integration, acknowledging the challenges but also viewing the situation as an opportunity to strengthen the bloc resolve. The Council's deliberations are expected to continue with an action plan for the relocation and realignment. Vice Chairman of Agege Local Government Area in Lagos has withdrawn from the race of the chairmanship in the upcoming July 12, 2025 Council election, supporting Adeganiyu Obasa, son of Lagos State House of Assembly Speaker Modesoro Obasa. Ola clarified that this decision was voluntary and driven by loyalty to Obasa, who has been instrumental in his political career. Meanwhile, in Ojokoro local government council area, APC members protested against an alleged imposition of candidates for the election, demanding a fair process. Party leaders assured that no candidate will be imposed and that ongoing discussion would address the issues. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun announced that his administration has invested over 2.2 billion naira in the state's aquaculture sector, benefiting over 3,400 fish farmers. The initiatives include subsidized inputs like 72 bags of high-quality feed for each farmer, contributing to the distribution of more than 179,000 bags in total. The effort is aimed to boosting food security, creating jobs, and reducing reliance on imported fish. The governor, represented by his deputy, Naumot Salako Oyedele, emphasized Ogun's potentials to become a major hub for inland aquaculture. He also highlighted collaboration with World Bank and Ogun State Economic Transformation Project to support local farmers. The State Ministry of Agriculture was tasked with accelerating the development of a fish processing zone to reduce post-harvest losses. Ogun currently produces 40,000 tons of fish annually, falling short of the local demand of over 100,000 tons. The Ijaw Youth Council Eastern Obolo Clan in Akwa Ibom State has renewed its call for the surveillance security contract promised by Sterling Global Natural Oil Field Service. The group expressed disappointment over the company's failure to fulfill its pledge, which was made when the company began operation in the area. The surveillance contract was expected to provide meaningful engagement and economic opportunities for the youth. In addition to the contract, the Council is advocating for the provision of electricity, the establishment of a host community trust fund, and the employment of local people as per the Local Content Law of 2010. The group also highlighted the long-standing issues of neglect, pointing out that no one from Eastern Obolo has been appointed to the State Executive Council or the Niger Delta Development Commission in over 10 years. They are calling for the appointment of a commissioner from the area to address these concerns. That's all for this edition on News Hour. Sun TV is a 24-hour TV station. We are live every day. You can follow us on Facebook at Sun TV and on YouTube at Sun TV Live. I am Esther Oka Steven. Thanks for watching.